welcome to Taking Over. I am OLED Ed Fries, and I am joined by the one and only, the natural, astridpizarro. We got some friends in the chat. We got Sean Cena. It has been a while. Thank you for joining us again. We greatly appreciate it. Glad to see that you are doing okay. We have Ed Fries emotes in the chat from our friend Basser. Basser is a wonderful friend of the channel, so definitely go ahead and give him a follow. I know he does some Fortnite streaming sometimes with his kids, so go ahead and give that a follow. We got the video bro, Bobby Munson, saying, "Oh, hello, my friends." We got Basser, happy to see Bobby, and Basser's excited to see
an
Ash
emote.
dropping the Ash emotes too. Hey, those are French fry emotes. Just so I'm saying.
They're emojis.
I don't know. I think it might be one of our new emotes. I don't know. Parrish didn't answer me when I asked if it was a new. Oh no, he's not. It's not a new emote. I asked Parrish if it was a new one. We got our friend Noel Toykin coming in. Thank you for joining us again. It looks like we have another raid. Thank you for joining us. I believe this is going to be from Get the Tables. But thank you for everyone for jumping in here. Of course, we got Barry Monkey saying hello, everyone. Hello, Barry. I know it is late. Thank you for joining us. We greatly appreciate it. We got In the Hot Seat podcast. Hello, my amazing friend. Just dropping by while watching some Ahsoka. Yes, the Ahsoka dropped. That's the Ahsoka from last week, and the new one should be dropping at midnight, if I remember correctly. And we got Truth and Loyalty jumping in saying hello. Hello to you. Tonight's show is getting off to a bit of a frantic start, considering NXT attempted to do the same thing. We come into the show. We've already got the ladies in the ring for the women's championship match. Thank you for Get the Tables for jumping in here and rating us. We greatly appreciate it. Make sure you go ahead and follow them. They have watch-alongs for all kinds of wonderful content, including AEW, WWE, NXT. They do all kinds of watch-alongs, so definitely go ahead and follow them if watch-alongs are your thing. They are fantastic. Thank you, Diamond Dave. We greatly appreciate that as well. I hope you guys had a good stream over there on the Get the Tables broadcast. Tell us what you guys thought of NXT. Do you know if Corey has picked up an injury, or do they not have plans for her? Poor Jade took some time off for creative hiatus, and then went ahead and got some things taken care of, shall we say. She got some things looked at. And we're going to leave it at that. She is currently on creative hiatus, from what we know. The recovery time should be over, but she's not back in the ring. And at this point, I don't think we're going to see her back in NXT. No. I think. Thank you, Parrish. I greatly appreciate that. We were trying to dance around that word, but thank you. She did get what Parrish said. I won't put it on the screen, but that is what happened. Diamond Dave loved it. I did too. I thought NXT was a really good show tonight. I'm excited to see what they do next week, considering they're touting it as one of the biggest Tuesday night NXTs. And I'm like, that's unusual, considering you just had a really good, named show a couple weeks ago, Heatwave. And now you're like, this is going to be one of our biggest shows. And I'm like, all right, you better live up to that.
Yeah, that's true.
But Astrid, as the women's expert for here, and somebody who values women's wrestling in its place in the culture right now, why don't you go ahead and take the lead on Kiana James from accounting versus Tiffany Stratton for the NXT Women's Championship tonight?
No, I was really surprised that it was the opener to begin with. But again, I wrote about it before, and I was like, I like having the woman opening sometimes, main eventing in the middle of the show. It doesn't matter. I just want them to be represented on a weekly basis. So the other thing I was surprised is not having entrances. We went right into the introduction for the show. So I was like, well, we're really starting this way. But no, I enjoyed the match between both of them. I like how they had a reversal for each other, for a while, but at least half of the match to begin with. But it was a good back and forth. I think it was a good showcasing for Kiana as well. But yeah, at the end, it just like Tiffany said, I'm a bigger heel than you are, and just poked her in the eye, and that was well enough to get her over for the prettiest moonsault ever. And Tiffany retains, but to our surprise, it doesn't end there. We get big time Bex on the Titantron challenging Tiffany for the NXT Women's Championship next week as the main event already. So that's pretty exciting. We went from her opening this week to her main eventing next week.
Yeah, we got big time Bex coming in. Noel taken, not entirely wrong. Becky and Dom will equal ratings. I agree. I think I would have saved Becky's match for No Mercy. Yeah. But I'm fine with big time Bex coming in and having a big match next week. I'm excited for them trying to draw eyes to NXT because the people in NXT are putting on a wonderful product week in and week out to those that watch it. But to the greater audience, some people don't notice that. So it's nice to see that getting funneled into trying to take some of those eyes from Raw and SmackDown and bring them in there. Yeah, they're trying to pop a rating, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, they want to pop a rating and then hopefully keep more of those fans.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, we're going to bring back 5 nostalgia acts, for one night to pop one rating and then, it goes back down again like they used to do for Raw, where they would have Legends Night or a version of Legends Night, and then go ahead and go back down to whatever number it was afterwards. But yeah, it's obviously to pop a rating. They're in the middle of a TV deal for all the shows, and they definitely need a little bit of a ratings bump because NXT doesn't do as well in the ratings, and that's fine because the fan base they have is hardcore and it's consistent. Unlike some other wrestling products, you don't see NXT take big jumps and big dives. It's not like one week they're at 500, the next week they're at 800, the next week they're at 300. They have their 6 to 700,000 fans that they get week in and week out. And yeah, some weeks go up to 8 or 900,000 fans. But then it comes back to their 6 or 7 and they have that plateau, that level base that they get to. And that's important because not all wrestling products out there are doing that. Some shows are getting 1 million fans one week, 700,000 fans the next week. So it's nice to have that balance. Tiffany Stratton versus Becky Lynch is going to be incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Tiffany Stratton versus Becky Lynch is going to be an incredible moment and opportunity for Tiffany Stratton. However, they're taking a big risk on her. She better deliver.
Yeah.
Because they're bringing down Becky Lynch. They don't bring Becky for everybody. So if they're giving her this opportunity, she best make the most of it. They see big things in Tiffany Stratton. And we even made a graphic for it. I wasn't talking about it before, but we made a graphic. Oh, I have to switch brands because it's not in this brand. That's fine. It's Tiffy time. Yeah. I had fun on Canva this afternoon. It's okay. But no, I thought this match was pretty good. I think that Kiana is improving week in week. The more she's in there, she's having longer matches where they're having less moments where they're waiting for her. They're having less moments where she's falling down. She's not taking the match down. She's not slowing the match down. This match went pretty well. I liked the idea of it's a heel versus heel. Let's just make it a cheat fest. Oh, I try to hold the ropes. Oh, I'm going to hold the tights. I love that idea of making it heel versus heel. Tiffany tries to steal the idea of using the big briefcase that the bag that Kiana brings to her every week. That's great. She's a heel. That makes perfect sense that she would do something like that. It just flowed wonderfully. Was it too short? Maybe. But they came in, they did a good job, and they got out, and they told a story without really needing more time. If this match gets 5 more minutes, is there a whole lot more they can do in that 5 minutes that makes that match that much better? That's my only question when we talk about should the match have been longer. The only thing I can say is what would they have done in 5 more minutes that would have made it much better? It was a little abrupt. Tiffany gets hit with the finish. Tiffany rakes the eyes, roll, moonsault, done and dusted. But I'm excited. I think it's gone well. Noel saying it right. They didn't even bring down Bex for Roxanne Perez. They brought her down. By the way, it also makes perfect sense to bring her for somebody like Tiffany Stratton because Tiffany is the antithesis of everything that Becky is. Everything that Becky's always believed in, Tiffany is the exact opposite. In a lot of ways, she's like, a lot of people aren't going to like this, she's a lot like Charlotte Flair, where she's kind of Becky's exact opposite. She's all about the looks and the appearance and being places and things like that. Things that Charlotte Flair used to be about. Her character's not quite about that now, but it used to be. She used to be that vain, self-centered character. And so I think this is a nice return to stability for Becky Lynch to have that kind of a character opposite her again. I'm very excited to have Becky Lynch down here. I think it's going to pop a number. It's
Yeah.
going to. But I would have saved it to sell some tickets because filling that little crowd in the PC isn't that hard. They're going to have a hard time filling that crowd in Bakersfield. I was at the last time that I was at 2 times ago when they went to Battleground.
Mm-hmm.
I was there. They could have used some help filling that arena out. Would have helped if they had Baron Corbin on that card. Becky's appearance will pop ratings like when Seth got his NXT. It was the highest rating in 3 years. Yeah, and I agree. That's the reason you do this. That's the reason why you do it on Tuesday night. Asher, do you think we're going to get a clean finish or an actual finish to this match, or do you think it's going to be a disqualification?
No, it's like not only the part of Tiffany being involved, but I see this being something a little bit more long term. It's like you don't bring Becky for just that one time and it's done, especially when she's thinking about like that championship that she hasn't held, the NXT Women's Championship. I think it's something that you make a little bit more long term. And right now, she ended her chapter with Trish. She doesn't have anything going on at the moment in the main roster. So why not have her here, not only elevate Tiffany, but who knows how she will be helping the girls backstage when she's there as well. So I think there's something that ends up being some kind of, I don't want to say DQ, but like something with like Tiffany probably cheating or something along those lines, and then probably getting the rematch at No Mercy, like you said. Because I think about it, it's not every day you see Becky in NXT. So I think that's something that will encourage people to get those tickets for No Mercy, and I feel like it will make people to tune into No Mercy as well, which is another thing because we're probably gonna get those promos from Becky during Raw to promote this as well. And we had Tiffany on Raw last couple of weeks, so maybe it'll happen that back and forth in there too. So it'll make people not only watch Raw to be able to see the continuation of the story, but watch NXT as well to see the whole, basically the whole story, the whole chapter to this. But yeah, it's like, but I don't see her winning. I see Tiffany retaining it, just not a clean finish. To like have that rematch on No Mercy in some way, shape, or form.
After the clusterfuck of a way that it took to finally get this belt on Tiffany Stratton,
Yeah.
I feel like it would really be a bad idea to just flip flop it with Becky.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't like for Tiffany. Not so much for Becky. I think Becky can eat a loss. Now, granted, should she lose to Tiffany Stratton? Now we're getting into dicey territory. Should she lose to an NXT talent? Probably not, especially if she's going to be one of the next challengers for Rhea Ripley in the coming months and weeks and so on, heading into the Royal Rumble. But I sure as hell don't think it's a good idea to have Tiffany lose clean to Becky.
Yeah.
For the sole fact is we went through 3 matches where Tiffany, 3 straight different specialty matches to get that belt on Tiffany.
Mm-hmm.
Because we had the 4-way, the 4-way that Indy ended up winning.
Yeah.
The ladder match that Indy ended up winning. And then it finally took the tournament in Battleground, so that finished up at Battleground, to put the title on Tiffany Stratton. Because 3 times they tried to put the belt on Tiffany Stratton, and at the last minute decided to go with Indy, and then Indy got hurt mid-match, and they decided to put the title back on Indy when Indy said she could go, only to put the title on Tiffany. So that whole time, she was really the one they were getting ready to put on the title on. I just don't think it makes Tiffany look as good as it's going to be if she just weasels her way out of this first match and then wins somehow the second match. Because I think Becky can eat that loss should she need to.
Mm-hmm.
We have Barry Monkey saying Becky wins, Tiffany gets the belt back with Rhea interference. That makes sense. That's something I could see. I didn't think about that. But that makes a lot of sense if we're heading to Rhea versus Becky sooner than I think. Because I don't think we're heading to Rhea versus Becky until Rumble. Because I see Becky winning the Rumble. My thing is I think Becky probably wins the Rumble and takes on Rhea at Mania. So I think it's a long build to Becky versus Rhea. But I can see that happening. Paris says, imagine if someone from the main roster cost Becky the match. Team Tiffany Stratton with that person. Zoe Stark seems to be a babyface now because Zoe Stark made a whole lot of sense until about last night. Until about last night, Zoe Stark made a whole lot of sense. But there's definitely potential. There are ways to make it that Tiffany Stratton wins this match.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm excited for the match because I was calling for this as soon as that promo happened. I'm like, Becky's coming to NXT. They're working a program. There's no way Tiffany Stratton accidentally said her name in that promo. And now we all know it was part of something bigger. Carmelo Hayes arrives at the arena at the same time as Wesley. Kind of awkward. You know that moment where you and your ex-boyfriend arrive somewhere at the wrong time, and you just got that awkward moment where you got to, you go first.
No, you go first.
Yep. So they come in, and we get the entrance for Ilja Dragunov to take on Mensah. But man, there's a whole lot of shit happen before that match starts. We get the Creeds back. They're resetting up the dojo because, God forbid we reset the dojo and get all the Creed stuff back up there because they were only gone for what, 4 weeks? Did we ever even see them take all that stuff down? Oh yeah, Ivy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But she only took down like the banner, and that was about it from what we saw, at least.
That's all they really put back up again. We got Mel coming in. Hello, Mel. Not much Eddie Thorpe tonight, but hopefully you stick around and talk about all the other stuff that happened on the show. We then get Tony D and Stacks popping in. They're making jokes. The Creeds are making jokes. It was funny. It was good. I'm like, all right, cool. This was a good segment. And then Idris Enofe and Malik Blade showed up, and I'm like, what the hell?
It's a party now.
And they start talking about all the wins they've been getting, and I'm like, they must be talking about Level Up, because God, I haven't seen them in weeks.
Yeah.
Man, I really should pay attention to Level Up, apparently, or at least read what happens. Because this is not the first time we've had a team come in and be like, I've been getting a lot of wins. And I'm like, when the fuck have you been on TV?
Yeah. It's like, where? When? Why?
How? Did you have any thoughts about this little summit? As we hear, the Creeds have said that they've invited all the tag teams of NXT. And I'm like, that's going to end well.
I didn't want it to go this way, but at least a little bit later on when we have everybody at that point there, and Tony starts like going through the names, like, yeah, we got, Blade enough for here, and then we got the Greets over there, and then this one here, and this one there. And then the brawl happened. It just reminded me, it's like, are they going for the AEW like backstage brawl? Because I was like, that's what it reminded me of watching that for some reason. I was like, I don't know if they were going for it. I was like, I don't know.
I don't think so.
I hope not.
I think we're setting up for a battle royal is what I think we're
getting. I thought about it. When was the last time we got a battle royal for the tag team championship, though?
I don't think we're getting it for the tag team championships. I think we're getting a number one contender.
I know, but for the number one contender spot, because I'm like, usually we get that for the ladies.
Well, I was going to say, they've had 4 opportunities to do it for Tiffany Stratton and decided not to, so I'm guessing they're just like, we have a perfectly good battle royal just sitting here. We might as well use it for the tag teams.
But yeah, it was just surprising. It's like, I don't remember if they ever did one. If that was what was the last time they actually did a battle royal for the number one contender spot for the tag team, though?
I think they've done it once or twice, but it's been a while.
It's rare, right?
Yeah, it's not something that happens. Like, as you said, and we've made fun of it over and over and over again. Oh, look, we don't have a number one contender for the women's division. Battle royal.
What are we going to do?
And it's not like that's a new thing under Shawn Michaels. Triple H used to do that all the time. Asuka's only loss in NXT was a battle royal that she lost. Did you remember who won that battle royal? Because I do.
Yeah, Eva Marie.
Yep. Never forget, Eva Marie was the first person to defeat Asuka. Just so we're clear. Ilja versus Mensah finally starts. Why was there so much offense for Mensah here? Yeah. Like, we're not pushing Mensah. He's the joke guy in this faction. Mm-hmm. Why did Ilja have to struggle? I don't get it.
I don't remember that. I couldn't picture it. And then there was a moment that they had to do a replay. I think it was a kick that he did towards the bottom rope to Dragunov, and I was like, why is this happening? Yeah. I'm just surprised because I just expected like an extended squash at this point, you know. And then I was not picturing that tonight.
Eva Marie did just as good in pro wrestling as she did on Big Brother. She was so good that my wife forgot 6 months later she even participated on the show. She was on Celebrity Big Brother? How did I miss that? No, I don't even think Carmella was technically as an in-ring competitor at that point. I think she was still managing Cass and Enzo at that point.
I think she won one later on, but this is not the one. That one's
Yeah.
the one that Eva won. That yes, Asuka's lost.
Okay, so Parrish says he's heard that Ilja likes to give back to his opponents because unless it's washing. That makes sense. Like, it's the only thing that makes sense because, like, I like Oro Mensah. I think that there's a lot in Oro Mensah, but this is not the time or place to give Oro Mensah a showcase match against Ilja Dragunov, who's potentially going to be your number one contender after next week. We'll get into that, as it goes on. But I thought it was weird. I liked the match. I actually thought it was a really good match.
Yeah.
I liked that Oro put up a fight. I thought Oro Mensah looked really good. I love the part where he's got Ilja so far off his game that Ilja just tries to do one of those like spin kicks that Ilja likes to do, and he totally whiffs, and Oro's nowhere to be seen. And I'm like, that could have been a botch, or it could have been a nice little spot in the match. I don't know which is the best way to have a botch, where you don't know if it's any good or not. Every time is a good time to show the world. I guess. I didn't expect it.
No.
And then, of course, the new asshole in NXT, Wes Lee, comes storming out where he doesn't belong and starts acted like he runs the place, like he's actually won something. Comes in here and looks at Ilja and goes, I normally do this behind the scenes, but I'm just going to come out here and tell you that I'm the next one to take on Carmelo Hayes. And I'm like, why? You got beat? At least Ilja has a slight claim that he got hit in the head with a title, and it kind of makes sense that he get a rematch. You just lost. Like, you had a really good job, but you just lost.
That might have been the Kanye woman's like, I'm gonna let you celebrate, but hold on, I'm gonna do this first.
Of course, the Swiftie would bring up Kanye West. Of course, the Swiftie would bring up Kanye West.
It's like, I'm gonna let you celebrate, but I'm the number one contender. Don't worry about it. We'll talk about you later.
And I love how Ilja's like, no, it's not how this goes, boy. You lost. I'm the next one. You stepped in front of my rematch and got in my way. And if you don't get out of my way, I'm going to go through you. And then Mel's like, no, hold on. I'm going to come out here. I'm going to explain this to all of you. I've now realized, and I'm like, it took you this long to realize that you don't have an asterisk next to your win against Ilja Dragunov? Like, good. He finally realized it. But it took a while.
Yeah. Maybe it was a chat with Shawn Michaels from last week. That's what it is.
It must have been. Shawn Michaels apparently gives great advice. I mean, who would have thought? The guy who thought it was a good idea to throw hissy fits in the locker room and everything that Shawn used to do is now the best advice giver in all of WWE.
Stranger things have happened.
It is funny to see DX, the people who everybody says the buried everyone, being the ones to nurture and cultivate the next crop of talent. It's just the funniest thing in the world to me. Melo says to Ilja, there's no asterisk. You took a risk and you lost. He looks at Wes Lee and he's like, you took a risk and you lost. I took advantage. I won those matches. I'm the champion. But Shawn Michaels gave me some great advice. So next week, Carmelo Hayes will watch as Ilja Dragunov and Wes Lee fight to go ahead and become the number one contender, which inevitably is going to end in some kind of double countout, some kind of double pin, and we're getting the triple threat, right?
Yeah.
There's no way this isn't the triple threat.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't have any other solution as of right now.
Parrish is right because he found God. Duh. That is not an unfactual statement. That is the moment he changed his life around. So it is true. I have a question. On the thumbnail, for those watching on the YouTube video, you'll have already seen this. For those that aren't, you haven't seen this yet. But on the thumbnail, I have who's next for him. Because I made it before the show. And I had Ilja, I had Wes, and then because I felt like it was a little empty, I put Trick Williams there. Do you think this is going to be a fatal four-way? Do you think Trick's the reason why this match has an unclean finish?
I mean, it could be, but I just don't want him in that four-way as much as I want to. I just want them one-on-one. being that we have that relationship, like the build up that it's happening right now between both of them. So I wouldn't want him in the four way. I want him to get that singles match like that with Carmelo and just kind of be like Carmelo's last match in NXT, because I think that's something I would like to see. I mean, I wouldn't mind him being in the four way, but I really don't want to see it at the same time.
Yeah,
You know?
I get it. We then, moving on, have Dominic Mysterio reading the WWE rulebook and throwing pages out because he doesn't like them, apparently.
I just wanted to go, what rule book?
But you now see that there's an Judgment Day have shown us two things that actually officially exist in 2 nights. One, we've seen the official Money in the Bank contract.
Mm-hmm.
The actual physical contract was seen on Raw when it was moved from briefcase to briefcase. And now Dominic Mysterio showing us the actual referee handbook for the rules of WWE. And then he puts on his really, really ugly purple shirt. God, that thing was ugly. Like, referee shirts are bad enough as they are, but my God, when he put on that purple and black, oh my, ugh.
Oh,
We've seen the contract before? I've never seen when did we see the physical contract before?
I feel like we only usually see I feel like we usually see only the first page anyway.
Well, that's what we saw last night too, but I don't ever remember them actually showing off the actual physical contract before. You know,
the briefcase looks nice in purple though.
Well, senor, you know, JD McDouchebag did a good thing. He did.
Yeah, the Funko Pop did.
People have tweeted it before. Okay. That makes sense. Mackenzie Mitchell is backstage with Nathan, asking if he has to make any adjustments. And he makes a joke about last week's terrible situation where he almost got his head cut off by the ropes. Has yet to be a little bit more careful with that. But otherwise, no adjustments needed. And then he makes his way to the ring. And I almost forgot he was in the ring because we then have another massive chunk of a segment while he's inevitably apparently just standing in the ring doing nothing.
Yep.
Which again, I still hate. I really, really hate these but first moments. Barry Monkey. After last night and tonight, Dom needs to win an Oscar for his acting. He's amazing. I mean, Dominic Mysterio has come leaps and bounds from where he was when he started in here. All the way back
a
to
year ago.
No. Way back when he was a little child and he was shaking the ladder and he was in promos with Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio. He's come a long way. He's still, predominantly motivated by candy, different type of candy now, but candy nonetheless. But yes, Dom has been exceptional lately. He was born for this business, and he's showing it. Absolutely. Dominic Mysterio is fantastic. He knows people hate him. He knows people don't want to cheer for him.
Yeah.
And he's embracing it and doing every douchebag thing he can do to make sure he doesn't get cheered. I like it. I think he's great. We have 2012 coming in. Dom, is that the same Dom that's Eddie's son? Yes, he is Eddie Guerrero's son. I mean, there's Rey Mysterio in there too, and it depends on how you see that storyline, but who's the babyface, who's the heel? According to WWE, he's technically Rey's son because Rey won the match for custody. So,
Jeez.
Dominic is 7 years out from 25 years in WWE. This is true because it was 2005 that he was in that ladder match at SummerSlam. Tia Hale backstage with JC Jane. JC's apparently helping Thea with a makeover because, of course, she is. Gigi Dolin comes in and says garbage about JC Jane trying to stick up for Thea Hale. And then Blair Davenport comes in talking about how Tia's a child, which she is, but why is Blair
He's a grown woman now. Did you miss that?
Yes, because it was Thea Hale talking, so obviously I missed it. Don't you know I don't pay attention when that woman's on screen?
How you said woman, see?
Well, she is. She was 19. She'd already graduated from high school. She has to be a woman. Well,
she's a grown woman now.
That's another discussion for another time. We're not going to talk about her pronouns. She identifies as a woman. We're going to let that go. No, Tia stands up for herself with, as I have written in my notes, JC's hand up her ass like a puppet. I'm sorry, but JC Jane was literally doing that. Hey, you should say this thing. Hey, this is my thing. What do I do now? Kind of thing. Like, honestly, it was as if she was being mannequin. And the best way for that is a puppet. I had a choice between puppet and mannequin. I chose the one that was more entertaining for my notes. So I made the segment slightly entertaining for myself by having fun in my notes.
I can see that.
What did you think of this segment? Because you know what I think.
I thought it was funny because they started not the transformation with, like I said, she said before, I'm a grown woman now, but then now she changed her outfit to like a different, more revealing outfit when she's with JC on top of it. And then having Blair come in, she's like, the division is not for children, it's not for children, it's for women. That's what she's told Roxanne as well. So she compared Roxanne and Thea in the same category as well. And then I like how all of a sudden Gigi goes, "Oh yeah, she's like picking on somebody weaker." And I was waiting for Thea to say something about her like being considered weaker, but she didn't say anything. I was like, "Dang, that would have been a good time to like interrupt and say something like, I'm not weak." But we had that back and forth between them, and then Blair just leaves, just like, "Here, I'm gonna throw the seats," and then just leave when at that moment when this happens, and having them come, he's like, "No, it's okay. I'm gonna face you tonight." And I was like, "Okay, I don't know if I'm looking forward
Hey,
to this
second
one."
women's match on the show. Good job.
Yeah.
Hey, second women's match. That's 2 nights in a row WWE's put 2 women's matches on the card. This is a good thing. Duke versus Nathan Frazier. It was fine. My biggest complaint in this entire match has nothing to do with the match. It only has to do with Akira Tozawa. Why are all of Akira Tozawa's matches on Level Up? His match last week was on Level Up. His match this week is on Level Up. Thankfully, the following week, he'll be on NXT next week for his third and final match in this tournament. But man, this is Akira Tozawa. Butch has gotten 2 matches on NXT. Akira Tozawa's going to get 1. What the hell? What's up with that? As Shane Helms would say.
Yeah.
It was a fine match. I enjoyed this. I thought Duke was great. I liked the idea that Duke was like taking in that chase you style. Hey, Nathan, are you okay? You landed pretty hard on your head there. And Nathan just kind of slaps up at him, and Duke's like, well, all right, you had a chance. Now I'm going back to my heel side.
Mm-hmm.
He starts beating him up a little bit. And of course, while Duke gets all angry and grr, that gives Nathan the advantage and goes ahead and gets the win with the, what the hell is that called? Phoenix Splash, I think it's called.
Yeah, probably.
It's the flippy thing that he does that Sept does.
The flippy thing. Yeah, that's that. No, the part that I don't want to say surprised me, but when he wins though, we have Andre checking on Duke in the background. And like he has such a, and then we have Nathan with a facial expression, like he seems pissed, and I was like, "What happens? He mad that he won, or what the heck?" And I'm like, "Did he just win?" And then he seemed like, like, and I'm like, "Why are you like mad about it now?" I'm just surprised, and that happened. I was like, I don't understand if one has to do with the other one. I didn't understand that part.
Yeah, I thought it was a little weird. I didn't really understand.
Like he seemed angry.
He's angry at everybody because Duke wasn't treating him like everybody else. He was checking on him and making sure he was okay. And that angered him because Duke wasn't doing what he would normally do. Good evening, Chris. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Chris Best. Chris Best is the co-host of the show that leads into us over here on our local establishment, Turnbuckle Talk. So if you haven't, go ahead and watch today's episode where they talked about CM Punk. They also talk about other things that aren't as in the news as CM Punk is. But they did talk about CM Punk today for a while, so definitely go ahead and check that out. We have Barry Monkey saying, Shakespeare once wrote, "It's a wise man that knows his own father, though he never had access to DNA tests." That is a true statement in both senses of the word. Moving on. We're back in, as I called it, the Mojo Dojo Casa House, because at this point, I'm really popping myself because these segments are annoying the ever-living piss out of me. Hank and Tank, which is another reason why I was annoyed, are here trying to explain to the Creeds about the NXT tag teams getting together formula of you have to wrestle each other and then you get better. And I'm like,
it's like to be a good tag team, you got to talk to each other. I'm like, sure,
that was
the only part in the formula.
He's like, do you guys talk to each other? And they're like, well, yeah, we're brothers. Have you ever fought? Well, Duh! We're brothers. We fight all the time. You know what? You know who I haven't missed in NXT? Hank and Tank. I've not missed them at all. Especially Tank. I really don't like Tank anymore.
I noticed.
I'll put up with Hank. You wonder why? Because Hank typically doesn't say anything in any of his promos. They normally only let Tank do the talking.
Mm-hmm.
Then we get Lucian and Bronco Nima come in, and I'm like, ooh, this is an exciting match. I want to see this. Bronco and Lucian versus the Creed brothers? That sounds like a hell of a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And then Reggie pops his head in, and I really stopped listening again.
Same here.
Reggie said words, talking about how I did listen. Yeah, talking about how the streets make brothers closer than blood brothers and better than friends who fight with each other. And I'm just like, sure, Reggie. I have no idea why you're paired with these two, and I'd love an explanation. Because you came in as a sommelier for Carmella, and now you're talking about how hard it is living with the streets. And I'd love to understand how you went from the streets to Cirque du Soleil to sommelier to back. Yeah. Reggie, as per Ed, fuck you. I don't get Reggie. Like, they did so many good things with him in the 24/7 division.
Mm-hmm.
And then they made him scripts and everything fell apart.
Yep. Not who I had in mind ever for that.
No. We had a lot of ideas of who scripts could have been. None of them were Reggie. We get Dom coming to the ring, but first, because the entire night is but first, Lyra backstage with Roxanne talking about the upcoming match between Mustafa Ali and Dragon Lee. And then Kiana comes in, pissed off that she lost. And Roxanne says, well, at least you had an opportunity. She says, yeah, I took the opportunity from you. And I'm going to take it from you again and again and again. And she keeps mouthing off. And, of course, that means that Roxanne punches her in the face. And they start to brawl. And all the girls in the locker room try to break it up. You know what? While they're not stories I want to see, NXT is telling women's stories that don't involve a championship.
The only thing I didn't like about this though is that when Roxanne tells her, "Oh, you had the opportunity," and I was gonna say, "So did you last week."
Well, no, but I think she was talking about she had the opportunity for the championship this week.
I know, but still, I was like, basically the same opportunity you had. Just like it was no different. She just took it from you, though. But yeah, and it's like I don't know if I want to see this part, but again, it's just like you said, it's just one non-title feud, and it'll keep Roxanne busy for a week or two, maybe, or like a month at least.
It's the wonderful thing that NXT does with even with matches we don't want to see. It gives the women in-ring time, and it shows that you can tell feuds and stories that don't have to be long-term, and you can set up and pay off matches in one-and-dones repeatedly with all of these people and make sure that people understand that you have a deep and thorough women's division. Even if all of them aren't as talented as they need to be at the top of that division, you continue to shuffle through women to go ahead and make sure that everybody understands that you take them seriously. Which is the one thing you can never say that NXT doesn't do. NXT always takes the women, even when they're getting 2 and 3 minute matches. They're at least taking the division seriously and having multiple feuds set up, having things going on. Like they're constantly on the show in different places. They're being put into men's feuds to at least give them camera time to be like, hey, this is going on, and setting up a segment like this. Is it a great use of Lyra Valkyria tonight to have her in 2 segments where she's talking about other people and then eventually having the match with Dana Brooke next week, and we'll get to that. But at least they're giving the women time. They're putting them on screen, and they're showing us that, hey, we'll have women's matches over and over again, and not everything is about, hey, only the championship exists, which is a positive.
Yeah.
It is. We try to give the positives and the negatives to everything, and I hold NXT to the same degree of difficulty that I hold all the other brands to. If NXT can do all of this in 2 hours, Dynamite can do this in 2 hours. Raw can do it in 3. SmackDown can do it in 2. TNA can do it in their 2 hours. Everybody can do this if NXT can do it. It's not rocket science. Like, it's not. All they do is be like, Lady A has a problem with Lady B. Have a fight. I mean, we only talk about Dynamite when we talk about the women's division because it's the biggest problem in my mind because they have one of the more stacked women's divisions that they don't give enough time to, that only have a single time slot. Raw has an entirely different problem, which is that they don't have enough talent on Raw to continue telling compelling stories over and over again. But they're getting better.
Yeah.
Baron Corbin backstage with Mackenzie Mitchell talking about the main event, saying that they both have something to prove to him. He doesn't care who wins. All he wants to do is see the carnage live right in front of himself for commentary. Now, I didn't put it in my notes, but based on the way that the show ends, I'm going to add in a line that he did say that I didn't put in my notes because I thought it was stupid, which was, if Bron wants to prove something to me, he'll end Vaughn's career. And I'm like, that's a silly line to put in this promo. Why would you bother doing that? We'll get back to that.
Yeah.
Chris Best saying we did that on last night's Raw. I agree. Last night's Raw, they did good. They had a nice 8-minute, 10-minute match between Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark, which went really well.
That was good, yeah.
They had a less good match between Chelsea Green and Raquel Rodriguez, went about 2.5 minutes.
Rest in peace, Chelsea.
By the way, can anybody explain to me how she's a 2-time NXT Women's Tag Team Champion? Is this another Booker T 4-time championship?
This is just her saying, like, I have a new partner, so you better count this as a second reign or else, kind of thing. Well, you'll see I'll talk to the manager.
She is absolutely Karen. That is for sure. Lots of stories coming out of Raw last week. I know, last night Raw was good. And then we had Cody Rhodes out there with Chad Gable last night after Raw went off the air. Really nice. Was that... You have the ... in the wrong place. It should be, was that ... foreshadowing. Yes. Yes, Chelsea Green. Chelsea Green got absolutely demolished as the only half of the current NXT / women's tag team champions.
Just have her hold it by herself at this point.
I don't know. There's no good answer to that. Chelsea Green looks like... She's not terrible. She's not good, but she's not terrible. There are worse. Trust me. There are plenty worse. Most of them reside in the NXT Women's Tag Team division. Tell me I'm wrong.
I'm not saying anything.
Tell me that NXT... You saw Jose's tweet because you sent it to me, and you saw my response to Jose that none of the women he listed in the tag team's women's division is ready for the main roster the main roster women's tag team championships. They're by no means ready for any of that. Kelly Kincaid tries to catch up with Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany Stratton wants nothing to do with her. So we continue on. Chris Baer saying, Chelsea Green is making me not miss Carmella, which is weird because Carmella is amazing. Carmella is amazing. She had a wonderful baby shower over the weekend. If you haven't seen the photos, go ahead and check out, I believe it's Natalia and Bailey's Instagrams had a bunch of pictures from it. Apparently there was a sloth there, which was the best thing that I saw there. They had a sloth. You know, the animal with the claws that hangs upside down and sleeps for like most of the day.
I know what it is. I'm just surprised.
I don't know why it was there either, but I loved it. I love sloths. Sloths are great. Chelsea Green isn't terrible. She's far worse.
No.
Chelsea's a perfect... There we go, Taken. Taken is correct.
I like it.
Chelsea is a perfectly serviceable wrestler. Half the main roster ain't ready for the main roster. It hasn't stopped them yet. Chris Perez says, wrong. Nothing wrong with being middle of the pack. I mean, Chelsea's not middle of the pack, let's be honest. Chelsea's holding up the back end of the pack, but it's fine.
No, she's a female framer, she said. I needed that reaction. That's all I needed. Thanks.
48 minutes and 30 seconds. I know you want to write it down. Dragon Lee versus, I have written in my notes Dom Mysterio, but it's actually Mustafa Ali that he faces. This match went really quick because, of course, Dominic Mysterio decides that he doesn't want to work tonight, so he's just going to slow count for Dragon Lee, and then he quick counts when Dragon Lee complains about it. He quick counts Mustafa Ali, pinning Dragon Lee. 1, 2, 3, new number one contender for the North American Championship.
Well, that was it.
That was exciting. I'm glad I didn't put that on the thumbnail. I mean, this was a match I was excited for. I was kind of excited to watch this match. WWE obviously doesn't want to go ahead and ruin this match. Apparently, it's definitely going to be done down the line, it seems like. Do we think Ali takes the title off Dominic Mysterio?
He should. Probably not.
Did we have Tyler Bate versus Jabba Kato before this?
Yep.
Oh. Jabba Kato won. No, Tyler Bate won.
Yeah.
I didn't care.
I can see that.
Do you want to talk about? Let's finish talking about Dominic Mysterio because he's the only interesting thing in this whole match because that's the way they booked it. But we got for No Mercy. It's going to be currently. I have a feeling it's going to be a triple threat match, but currently, Dominic Mysterio versus Mustafa Ali. What do you think about that match as a whole?
My favorite part, though, the ending, though, here is having Ali attack Dom after the match is over, and the pop from the crowd it was wonderful. I just love that whole part there. Yeah, I can see this just having Dragon Lee kind of go to Sean's office and be like, well, look at that fast count. That wasn't fair. So we'll probably get him being part of this match and just having it as a 3-way moving forward because that's what makes sense to this. But I'm hoping down the line we get to see Ali versus Dragon, just no Dom involved, so we can get like a clean match to put it like that.
Barry's not wrong here. Dominic did a great job as referee. He was in the right places at the right times. A lot of proper refs struggle with that. He's not wrong. How many times have we seen the referee not in the right position for a match? At least Dominic Mysterio was in the right places. I mean, he was counting pretty slowly, but at least he was in the right places.
Mm-hmm.
We get Trick Williams on the phone, and then Ilja Dragunov comes in, and Ilja says, I didn't lie about all the wonderful things I said about you last week. But why did you lie to Carmelo Hayes? And Trick's like, I didn't lie. And he's like, but you told Carmelo that you thought he could beat me. He's like, well, I do think he can beat you. He's like, are you sure? Are you sure you believe that? And I'm like, what? What is he daring him to do? Tell Carmelo that he can't? Like, what good does this do for... Why is Ilja doing this? I don't understand. Why do people care what Trick Williams thinks of how people compete?
Dude, my favorite part, though, was the end when he goes, you can either keep lying to your best friend or lying to yourself. I'm like, what do you mean? It's the same answer.
I don't understand the point of this.
No.
Which is why I think Trick Williams is getting involved next week.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I think that there's potential for a fatal 4-way. But the sole fact is it didn't feel right. So I feel like there has to be a reason. So what's the reason? And the only logical reason I can come up with, and granted, wrestling's not logical, so I'm sure there's something else involved. But like I don't get, unless it's just furthering the gap between Trick and Mello. And it's not going to play into next week, and it's not going to play into No Mercy, and it's playing into the inevitable heel turn down the line. But it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Von Pelt jumping in saying Dom will always be involved. Hopefully. Dominic Mysterio is doing a great job right now. Lots of refs don't know how to tune out of the earpiece that they have to wear at times. That's true. Lots of referees get caught up in the moment listening to where they have to be as opposed to just doing, which does play a different part. Do you think we get Mello versus Trick versus Ilja at No Mercy? No, not No Mercy. I think we get, if we're getting a triple threat at No Mercy, that triple threat is going to be Wesley versus Ilja versus Mello, in which Mello wins. And then inevitably, I think that builds to either at around the time of the Royal Rumble, I think that builds to Trick versus Mello at that point. And as Astrid said earlier, if we're getting Trick versus Mello, I don't want it as a multi-man. I want that to be a singles match. Because I think when you tell that story, it has to be strictly the two of them, and it has to be. And they've already planted the seeds. We know that story's coming.
Yeah.
Barring anybody getting injured, that story's on its way. We just got to get there. Going back, as we said, Dabakato versus Tyler Bate. I know you love Tyler Bate. Do you have any thoughts about this match?
All I saw was a big strong boy. I was a happy guy also. That's all I
Mama
needed.
Mama Fries was very impressed and excited when she saw Tyler Bate lift up Dabakato to do the airplane spin. She was also very worried about Tyler Bate when she saw Dabakato bend him over the knee and like do like the break spot.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, "That doesn't sound like it looks fun." And I'm like, "No, it does not look fun."
Yeah.
Mama Fry is always good for a laugh or two.
Yes.
We get the parts of the show that Astrid missed, so I'm going to go ahead and take up the heavy lifting here. We have Gulak, Charlie from the Chocolate Factory, and the Oompa Loompa working in the ring as Miles Bourne comes in here and he's sweeping up the floor and doing his job that he's supposed to do for Mr. Gulak. And Gulak and the rest of the crew think that that's not needed. You don't need to be here because you know what? You gave up on us and you went and joined the other side. So now you don't get to be here. And Gulak says specifically, I didn't think you were ready. If you were ready, you'd be on NXT already. I have a feeling Miles is getting the win. Or he's taking the pin. It's one over the other. It's nobody else is winning that match and nobody else is losing that match. It's either or for Miles next week. It was supposed to be this week, but it seems like it got pushed to next week with everything going on.
Mm-hmm.
We have Eddie Thorpe very, very angry outside, pissed that Dijak keeps getting himself, taking shortcuts to go ahead and win matches. Whether it be the big boot on the outside, whether it be going ahead and using the attack before the match, and then last week when it was using the belt. Eddie Thorpe is sick of it. I have a feeling we're going to get a no DQ match coming up in the near future. Great.
I said they just did a no DQ tonight, so we'll just do something similar. But
do you think we get NXT Underground again? Because Thorpe's already done it.
Because I was like, but they did a Weapons Wall not too long ago. They did a no DQ this week, so I was like, I don't see the same stipulations happening so close to each other. I don't know.
They've got to do something, and it has to involve them being able to do whatever they want. Yeah. So it's down to a street fight. They can't do a steel cage. It just did that last week. So like you're running out of options there, which is why I go back to potentially NXT Underground.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that would be a good spot for Dijak. I think Dijak would actually do really well in NXT Underground. And we know how well Eddie Thorpe does in them.
Mm-hmm.
Axiom versus Butch. I want you to go ahead and talk about this match because I do know that you watched this one.
Sort of.
You watched it.
Kind of. No, I like this one because it just made me think of like usually where you're so used to seeing Axiom being so fast paced and to having somebody like slow him down the way Butch did, it was something that you don't get to see often. So that was definitely a different sight for me at least. But no, I enjoyed how it played off. And it made me think from the get-go because when this was announced and they gave us instructions of like, if you win, you get 2 points. If you get a draw, you get 1 and 1. I was like, I'm waiting for how long it takes them to get that draw. Because we knew it was happening once he gave you the instructions, but I was wondering how long it took them for that to happen. And I know they mentioned towards the end when Pete does his finisher move on him, he pins him and he kicks out. And like, even the commentary is like, what? He kicked out of it. And he only has 6 seconds left. And I go, this is going for a draw, isn't it? That's why they gave us the instructions to begin with. And then there we go. Our first draw in the tournament.
As soon as they said we have 2 minutes to go, I knew the match was going to a draw.
Yep.
When I heard Alicia Taylor say 2 minutes left, I'm like, oh, well, we're going to a draw this week. But we did talk about last week about how long was it going to take them to do the draw because it had to happen at some point, and there it was. It was a good match, though. I really enjoyed this. I thought it was a whole bunch of fun. These two guys have a ton of chemistry. It's almost as if Butch has wrestled a kid like Axiom before. A kid like Axiom. Oh, maybe. Just maybe. I actually don't know if they've actually wrestled each other or not. I don't think that. I think Pete Dunne was gone by then, wasn't he?
I was going to say, I believe he was
gone. I was going to say, I think he was in NXT proper at that point. I don't know if he would have gone back for it. I'm sure they did something on the the independent circuit or something. They had a lot of great chemistry. I really enjoyed this. And then for some reason, Tyler Bate comes out after the match and just stands at the ramp, and I'm like, why?
But I mean, it goes back to the interview he said last week, because he said like, Butch is the one that I faced up before. He's the one person that I kind of get to have the win over, and I was like, Axiom is the other person. And I was like, so he definitely like those other people that like he mentioned during the interview. So to me, it makes sense that he came out and kind of faced them.
I get that, but it just felt weird that he didn't do anything.
Yeah,
he just stood there after they had a draw. Dar Amazing coming in with a really good one. I'm so done with these A-kid jokes. Touche. We get Von Wagner apologizing and talking to the table. I think that Robert Stone and all of NXT needs to go ahead and get some counselors for these NXT superstars, because way too many of them are talking to inanimate objects thinking that they're people. First, Noam Dar wants to... I'm just going to say it. He wants to fuck that cup. I'm telling you. Noam wants to screw the cup. Ash has muted herself. But no, too many people...
No, I have muted myself, but I have no words anyway.
I'm telling you. Him in that cup, I guarantee you, it sleeps in the same bed as him. In character, Noam Dar sleeps with that cup. In real life, probably not. But I'm telling you, in character, he sleeps with that cup. And we only have Von Wagner talking to that table today like it was a person, talking about how this is going to hurt him a whole lot more than it's going to hurt they. I'm like, no, it's not. You're not the one breaking. The table's going to get hurt worse than you, Von. I was wrong. I was very wrong. But, you know, Von Wagner talking to a table, and the table was the least wooden one in the scene. Not untrue. You know what? Von Wagner needs to go back and watch Miz TV from last night, because Miz had an excellent conversation with something that he couldn't talk back when he had Miz TV with John Cena last night, because it was absolutely
that was amazing.
Fantastic. I have been informed by a good friend of mine, Miss Astrid, that A-Kid and Pete Dunne have had 3 matches together.
None in NXT UK.
No, none in NXT UK. Is this progress? White Wolf. I've never even heard of White Wolf Wrestling. Interesting. But there we are. They have wrestled each other, which is all that really matters. They do know each other. They have wrestled.
Mm-hmm. Oh no. Oh no.
I'm getting sick and tired of Vic. I really am. I'm really tired of Booker, and Booker's making Vic bad. Because Vic has to deal with Booker, and it brings everything down. At one point, he was talking about talking about how nervous Oro Mensah might be and how his palms were sweaty, which made Vic Joseph then go in and start rapping Eminem. At other points during the show, Ashley was asking me, talking about Tia Hale's shoes, and if JC Jane had walked in Tia Hale's shoes or something like that. Yeah. It's just, Vic's getting almost as bad as Booker, and they really need to substitute somebody. You know what they need to do? They need to put Corey Graves on both shows. They need to give us back Wade Barrett, and they need to tell Booker to go back to Texas in Reality of Wrestling, where you can see fine talent like Gigi Ray in Reality of Wrestling.
Yeah, it was during the Thea versus Gigi Dolin match, and then it was Vic starting going, oh yeah, because JC Jane has walked in Thea Hill's shoes, and then Booker goes, JC Jane has walked in Thea Hill's shoes? And like the way he said it, it made me laugh. I had to write it down as soon as I heard it, because I just couldn't deal with it. It was one of those.
Finally, for the second to last time, we get the tag team summit thing backstage, where basically a couple people are talking, and then just a brawl ensues, and I'm going to go ahead and skip to the last portion of this because I really don't want to come back to it.
At least the good news, though, we had an Angel and Umberto come out, but they never said the name that you mentioned last week, so that's good news.
Yes, we're not having Heart and Soul, thank God. No. In my Booker T voice, these two men are Vic, no bread and no water, just me. Yeah, I mean, it's oh, Booker's a special kind of Booker, isn't he?
Yeah, very
Just
special.
he's not always bad, but when he's not good, he's awful. And you know what? It's at this point in the show that I started getting a little tired, and I wanted to reach for my rogue energy. So you can go to rogueenergy.com, or you can go ahead and scan that QR code right here next to Astrid, and you can go ahead and put in the promo code OLE Pods to get 10% off your order. I've got an order going in there. I just got to wait for payday so that I can go ahead and get myself a new tub. Brand new flavor. Sour watermelon is coming home to Ed. I'm very excited. I'm leaving the wonderful, wonderful safe waters of my watermelon flavor and going out and trying the new sour watermelon. It's going to be a big change for me. I'm very excited for it. But if you want to try it for yourself, go ahead and go to rogueenergy.com. Use the promo code OLEPODS to get 10% off your order. They do have a sampler set and a trial set, so you can go ahead and get some things for cheap to go ahead and try it. But Rogue Energy is less sugars, more healthy ingredients, less of the stuff that gets you all jittery and stuff from using all of your other energy drinks like Astrid and a Red Bull. So you go ahead and use some of this Rogue Energy. Much better, much safer, much healthier. Go ahead and go to Rogue Energy and use the promo code OLEPODS to get 10% off your order. What else? Why are you shaking your head like that? We then cut after this. We get the Gigi Dolin versus Tia Hale match. We're going to skip that for the moment just to go ahead and finish out this tag team thing. Ivy comes back and the Creeds are nursing their bruises, and Julius is playing with his teeth and other stuff. And she goes, "What the hell happened? I just left for 2 or 3 minutes." And he's like, "Yeah, we're just glad to be back in NXT." And I'm like, "Oh, I kind of wish you would have went to the main roster now."
No.
Yes, you don't need Julius. You can't have both Julius and Tyler and Axiom. Can't have them all.
Okay.
You gotta downsize. You can't have them all.
No.
Got to get rid of some of them.
No.
Let's go to Raw. Tag team feuds. Creeds in the Judgment Day. How good would that have been? Creeds versus the New Day. Creeds versus the Street Profits.
Are you gonna put me Damien on one side and Julius on the other?
You put yourself there.
No.
You want to be Judy Bagwell? We'll put you on a pole, and you'll be the prize they're fighting for. Anyways,
No.
after talking about 2001 WCW, we're going to move on to something a little bit more current. Gigi Dolin versus Tia Hale. Astrid, I have nothing good to say about this match. Please talk about it.
Well, I did like the progression with Thea. She has a different attire as well today, a little bit more revealing as well, as we saw like similarly to her regular attire. She was backstage. No, this was, I think it was a kind of short match. The part that really stood out was having Blair come out at one point when Gigi's outside taking care of Gigi, so that way when Thea puts the Kimura lock, Gigi taps out, and it's just like I was not expecting Gigi to lose to Thea, but here we go. And I like how JC just blows a kiss to Blair. I said, "Thank you for the win that we have here now." I like how Thea does have like the megaphone, and JC's like, "No, just throw it away." She threw it to the side on the way to the on the way to the ring there. But yeah, it just
she has the bikini. She has the bikini top with the Chase U logo on the corner. She threw away the megaphone. Blair Davenport did the dumbest like arm breaker fall.
Right, I was gonna say I don't know what that was.
I've seen wrestlers do it, but I've never seen anybody do it to put so much pain into their body as it put Gigi Dolin into. So she must do it really, really good. The match was fine. It progressed Tia Hale's story, which is really all that matters. And it sounds like we're getting Gigi Dolin versus Blair Davenport going forward. Mm-hmm. So that's fine too. Tia Hale did her move twice. Quality match. She did do that shitty Kimura twice. It's still just as bad as it ever was. She really needs to go to Gulak and get a better Kimura lock. Hell, she needs to ask Brock to come down to NXT and give her a better Kimura lock. Because that Kimura is not good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We then get Kalani Jordan backstage with what was her name? Lyra Valkyria.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. We have Noel saying facts. We're talking about how, I'm sorry, the Kimura is a really great hold. And Tia Hale, yes, she's a smaller competitor, but she can make it look good. She doesn't yet. She needs to work on that to make that Kimura look like it hurts. She's missing something. I don't know what it's missing, but I watch Brock do it, and I watch her do it, and there's a gap. Now, granted, I know Brock, big tough cowboy, but it's pro wrestling. It's all fake. It's all predetermined, and it's all
I was gonna
less than.
say don't say the F word.
It's not fake. It's all less than real, and she has to make it look more real. That's the words I wanted to use.
She has to make it look more believable.
Sure, that's another word for it. Anyways, we move on to Kalani complaining to Lyra, and Lyra giving her some advice. And then Dana Brooke walks in. Yeah, I noticed it, and I'm not going to let anybody else not notice this. Go ahead and listen to Dana Brooke's promo tonight, and then go ahead and listen to Margot Robbie talking as Harley Quinn in Birds of Prey. They are the same voice. And that sucks.
You ruined Margot for me now.
I know, Margot's an absolutely beautiful, talented actress, and Dana Brooke is none of those things. Yeah. And, nor is she a talent. Margot Robbie is as talented a wrestler as Dana Brooke is.
Moving on.
Tell me I'm wrong.
You're wrong. Let's move on. I'm kidding.
I'm not wrong. Anyways, Dana Brooke apparently takes major offense to the fact that Lyra Valkyria would dare give Kalani Jordan any advice. Like she never got advice from more than one superstar, like Emma and Charlotte. Never. She was never two people's protege. And she still can't wrestle. I'm just...
I know.
We're getting a match between Lyra Valkyria and Dana Brooke.
Yep.
I really hope they find something for Dana to do that doesn't involve her being on camera. I have lots of ways I could word that, but that's about the best way I can word it.
I was about to say that because we get her on commentary, though. Imagine that.
I have a mute button. It'll be fine. It's not a big deal. I wish she would. I really wish she would, Parrish, but unfortunately she's not going to. And even then, at least he can wrestle, so it is what it is. And then we get the main event. Bron. There we go. That's a fun thing. That's a positive way. Dana could be the fitness coach to PC. There we go. By the way, I realized something the other day, and I don't know why I was thinking about it, but I did. Dana Brooke once was talking to Kalani Jordan, and they were talking about how they need to be paired together because there's nobody that can do the types of things athletically that they can do. And, and they're doing all like the floor routine kind of flips and stuff. And I'm like, wasn't Tiffany Stratton a U.S. Olympic? Like, she wasn't on the Olympic team, but wasn't she on the U.S. national team for gymnastics? Wouldn't she be a slightly better role model for Kiana? At least she did something as opposed to Dana Brooke, who hasn't won anything.
You know, I thought about that when she did her like cartwheel elbow during the match.
Oh, Ruka too.
Yeah. But no, when she did the cartwheel kind of elbow to Kiana earlier, I was thinking, wasn't that what Dana was talking about not too long ago to Kalani? It's like, we're the only two that can do this. And then I went, there's a third one right there.
Yeah, and Noel brings it up. Absolutely. Sol Ruka. Sol Ruka was doing amazing athletic things. Again, God. I don't like being mean. I don't. I like having fun and teasing wrestlers like Tia Hale, Jay White, things like that. But I don't like being outright, like, legitimately, truthfully mean to people. But Dana's been in this business too long to be this bad. She's still that bad at promos. She's still that bad in the ring. She was... I randomly was trying to get away from wrestling one weekend, and I was watching bowling. And she happened to be the guest of honor at the bowling thing. And she can't do that either. I don't know what she does. She can go to AEW and give Tony Khan. I mean, I'd like it if she goes to AEW. She could be an unused women's talent on AEW and we never have to see her again. That might not be a bad idea. And Lord knows they have much talented people that they don't use. So if they had her there, she wouldn't get used either, right? Actress like, I'm ignoring you.
Yeah.
Astrid, go ahead and talk about Von Wagner versus Bron Breakker.
It was a match and it happened and there was a spear and the match was over. And then Vaughn just died, apparently.
Thank you, Astrid. All right, we're up. No. So this was another bad Bron Breakker match. And in turn, it was a bad Von Wagner match. Baron Corbin was entertaining as hell on commentary. He was great. Braun tries to spear Vaughn, and Vaughn moves, and Braun goes through the set. And then Vaughn puts Braun through the table and gets the pin, goes to get the pin in the ring, but he tries to do one more move, and Braun breaks out of it. God, I hate the fact that it's Vaughn and Braun.
Yeah, I
Braun
can't do that
gets
either.
out of it, does the low blow, gets the 1, 2, 3, and then goes ahead and brings him to the outside of the ring, and apparently, as Astrid said, kills him with the stairs because the whole thing goes to black and we see nothing.
I was thinking it was a spear.
I'm waiting to see Twitter so we can see what this actually looked like in real life because Lord knows it exists.
It's like there's been a murder live on TV.
Yeah, but that was the end of the show. You know what? Before we go ahead and start promoting what we have on our calendar here at our local establishment, we do want to remind you that it's September. So for anybody who wants to subscribe, whether it be to myself, whether it be to Asher, whether it be to our local establishment, go ahead and make sure that you take advantage of September because you get 25% off 1 month subs, 25% off 3 month subs, 30% off 6 month subs. And this even works as gift subs too. If you want to go ahead and give subs to other people. And the best part is that the content creators that you want to support here, go ahead and get the same price, even though it's a discounted price. All of that proceeds comes out of Jeff Bezos' pocket. So definitely go ahead and make sure that you go ahead and support your favorite streamer, whether it be us, whether it be Get the Tables, whether it be Astrid, our local establishment. We really appreciate it there because we got all kinds of great content. What kind of great content? Let me show you what we got coming up this week. So thank you for watching that for the calendar. You can find all kinds of great things there. We got a couple more comments here before we head out the door, so we want to go ahead and talk about that in the Hot Seat podcast. You son of a bee! Yeah, we did hear that on commentary tonight. If you need Bron to carry you through a match, you're as bad. You are so bad you might as well be named Dana Brooke. Yeah, that does that. Next time on the NXT saga, will Trick Mellow Gang break up? Can Becky finally win the NXT Women's Championship? And will Bron face Justice? Find out next time on Dragon Ball Z. Parrish says, I love the subs so much I ordered Quiznos. Thank you, Parrish. Just like Booker T, we now know what you ordered on DoorDash.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. I apologize. The gift subs doesn't take effect until September 26th. Thank you, Mike the Ref, for joining us. And if you're not following, follow Mike the Ref. He is a fantastic follow for all things. He does some gaming stuff all the time, but most importantly, he is your one-stop shop for all things All Elite. He does an All Elite broadcast, watch along sidecast every Wednesday night, and he goes ahead and does local stuff in the Canadian area, in the Edmonton, Canadian area, for all of the AEW pay-per-views. So definitely go ahead and check that out. Noel, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. Hope to see you again soon. He used Skip the Dishes. DoorDash is for suckers! There's some good things about Booker T. Sure. And it's basically, can you dig it, sucker?
I was about to say, that's about it.
All it is. But yeah, we've had a great thing where, we've had a great night. Next week, we have the number one contenders match. We have the tag team match between the Creeds and I think it's Blade and Inoue. I know the Creeds are in I know the Creeds are in tag team action. I'm not sure for against who. And of course, our main event is going to be Becky versus Tiffany Stratton. The women will be main eventing. Hopefully they get more than 10 minutes. I would really hope they get more than 10 minutes. It's been a fantastic night on NXT tonight. It's only going to get better next week. We got Mike the Ref saying, I got 3 monitors going right now. Thanks for helping me out, keeping up with the NXT. You know what? NXT is a fantastic show. And, not everybody can catch it on Tuesday nights. You got lots of stuff going on. Mike the Ref does all kinds of work over there at the Backbreaker Media. So definitely go ahead and give him a follow. But we appreciate keeping you up to date and you letting us be the ones to keep you up to date with NXT. Good night, Dar Amazing. We appreciate you jumping in. And again, we want to appreciate the raid from Get the Tables. So definitely go ahead and follow Get the Tables on all of their social medias. They do all kinds of fantastic watch-alongs, whether it be Raw, whether it be SmackDown, whether it be Rampage, whether it be Dynamite. They do all kinds of stuff. So if you are looking for watch-alongs for everything all in one place, they're your spot. But like I said, our local establishment, Raw watch-alongs. Tom Colliehue, friend of the channel, does SmackDown watch-alongs. Mike the Ref does his AEW Dynamite watch-alongs. All kinds of fantastic people. Like Mike says, have more than one monitor going. Participate in more than one chat. There are fantastic wrestling fans all over the place. We all need to work together so we can all become better and all lift up. Thank you for everybody who joined in. Ashley, are we rating anybody? Because you are the one with all the followers tonight.
Look at me.
Yeah, you've got 8. You've got 8 followers watching tonight. So where are we going? Because everybody's rated you so far. I rated our local establishment, and our local establishment rated you. What? So it's now all up to you to go ahead and rate out some elsewhere.
Pressure. The pressure's on. Let's see who's online. Okay.
We need the Jeopardy thinking music.
No. Well, I do have good friend Amanda who's always doing a lot of great variety streams. So let's read her.
All right.
I can get this going.
So Asher is going to send most of you, whoever are watching on whatever platform you are watching on, Asher's going to go ahead and lead the raid. Thank you for joining. Go ahead and thank them for being with us and go ahead and tell them where you came from. And we will see you all next time. Goodbye.